Hello and welcome to this recording. The purpose of this recording is to walk you through how to apply to our MPH program at Cal State Northridge within the Department of Health Sciences. And this is specifically going to focus on how to submit our department materials as it relates to the application process. And this is going to be for our in-person MPH programs. So real quickly, before I get into um, the logistics of what I would like to go through real quickly. I just wanted to just highlight here. If you look over here where my cursor is, you will see that this is where we have the statement of purpose instructions. So one of the documents that you will have to submit is the statement of purpose. So please make sure to read the directions, the instructions, and also too, it gives you highlights of what should go into your own statement of purpose. In terms of application submission, applications open October 1st. And if one would like to be considered for priority admission, well, then that person would need to submit their application by December 1st. If not, the final set of applications that will be reviewed must be received by May 1st, right? And applications will be analyzed and reviewed all the way on a rolling basis from January to May. And I just want to reiterate one more time that this video is specifically for our in-person MPH program, either in community health education or applied epidemiology. We do review applications in a holistic mechanism, and what that means is it's not all about your GPA. Your statement of purpose is important, your background in public health. Also, too, your experiences that you highlight as you write your statement of purpose and also as you put together your resume. In terms of GPA requirements, one does need to have an cumulative GPA of a 3.0 in order to apply to the program. If one does not have a cumulative GPA of 3.0, what I would encourage that person to do is to maybe retake classes at a community college and boost up that GPA and then apply during the next cycle. So in terms of the application process, it is a 3 or maybe 4-part process. For those who are domestic students, it's going to be a 3-part process. For those who are international students, it's going to be a 4-part process. I'm really mainly going to be focusing on part 2 and showing you part 3. Part 1 is going to be where what everyone has to do, regardless if you're a domestic student or international student. So for part 1, you'll go into Cal State Apply and you will, start your application process and you will follow the directions for Cal State Apply. That is to apply to the university and the CSU system. Then the second component, right? This is the reason why you would come to this website, even though we have directions here on Cal State Apply. But the main reason in terms of, having this website available to you is so that you can submit the application materials that is connected to our specific department. So for part 2, once you get to part 2, that means that you have already submitted your application materials and completed the whole entire application for Cal State Apply. So some things that you will need before you start this process, of course, you will need your contact information, a little bit about your educational background, which you'll add. And then, of course, you'll either select which program that you're applying for. So either community health education or applied epidemiology, okay? And then in terms of the attachments that you'll need to prepare beforehand, you'll need to have all of your unofficial transcripts, right? And then it's important. And then after that, you'll need your current resume. And then the last thing, as I mentioned before, is going to be your personal statement, right? So, and I just highlighted to you up above, you'll see the directions of where you can find that statement of purpose. Okay, so one thing that I do also want to kind of indicate here is make sure that you are saving your attachments correctly and make sure that your attachments are PDF. Okay. So even if you work on your attachments on Word, you want to convert them on PDF before you submit them. And also too, there is a mechanism or a technique that we want you to use in order to save your document. So it's going to be last name, first name, and then what that document is. So in this case, you see Smith John transcript CSUN. So it's going to be the name of the college or the acronym of the college, right? And then for your resume, Smith John resume. So last name, first name, resume. And then for the statement of purpose, it would be last name, first name, and statement. Okay. So make sure to save these documents as such and have them ready to go as you upload them. So further down, so that's the first step, to make sure that you have all of these materials ready. The second thing would be then to click on the application itself. All right, so I'm just going to walk you through this process. So, you should select yes, right? I have already completed the Cal State Apply application. It is recommended that you submit the application first before you even start this process. I am going to continue on as a domestic student, but international student, this application just reminds you that there's going to be a fourth step in this application process. So I'm going to select domestic student, and then I'm going to add the name. So I kind of created a mock person here. And then other unknown names, I'm gonna leave that blank. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in a phone number. An email address. I kind of created a mock email address. And I didn't use CSUN, I used MTSU, just to kind of, so you can see how you can go through the process. Some people, especially people who have attended CSUN before, they might have a CSUN ID number. So if you do know your CSUN ID number, you can enter it here. If not, you can just leave the space blank. I'm going to leave the space blank and just pretend that this mock person never went to CSUN. And then I am going to select which program I am applying for. Okay. I am going to select community health education, but if you select applied epidemiology, the application process is synonymous. There's no difference, but it's just for this application process, we want to know what program that you are applying to. So I'm going to select community health education and continue on. And then this is where you put information in about your institution, maybe the institution that you went to before. And you can do this as many times depending on, so let's say if you went to CSUN and then you went to Valley Community College, and then you also went to Pierce College, you would need to enter all that information. But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to choose one university. I'm going to just use Tennessee State University as a mock organization, a mock university in terms of country, USA, state, and then city. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to move this down to city, of course, state, Tennessee, giving that this is what the mock university that I'm using. I'm going to put in psychology degree. I'm going to put BS, Bachelor's of Science, completed. I'm going to say that I've completed the degree. Date attended. I'm going to put 9/2020 to 05/2025. Okay, I'm gonna put that as the dates that I attended. I'm gonna put NA, I didn't receive any credentials. I'm also gonna put NA, I did not minor in anything. Okay, so and one thing that I stated that I do want to just, it says here your most recent degree. So you want to do your most recent, but I'm only putting one, so that's fine. So in terms of that transcript from that school, I'm going to go ahead and move in that transcript. It's important to see here. So the last name is Matador, then first name John, transcript MTSU. Okay, so I did just that. I don't have a secondary school. If you do, if you went to a community college or something like that, you can put in your secondary school and drop that in. I do not have a third school that I'm going to add, but if you did, you would do the same. So it gives you opportunities to add all of those from the schools that you just went to. But as you can see, I'm only doing that one school. So then I'm going to add the legal name, followed by the date. And I'll just use, say the date is 10/01/2025. Okay. Okay, there are three, let's see what's here. Okay, I think this might be connected to the schools. I'm pretty sure that I've answered everything. So in this case, because I'm only submitting information for one school, I'm gonna continue without answering since I've already added that. So the next thing that I'm gonna upload is going to be my resume. So here you see here. So again, last name, Matador John, resume, and that's uploaded there. And then the next thing that is asking me to do is to add my purpose statement. So I am going to add that form 2. And you remember that's the one that ends with statement. So I have Matador John statement. And then again, I'm going to add my legal name. And then the date that you are completing the application. Okay, and then I'm going to hit continue. And then this is where you would put your recommenders, okay? You would put the name of your recommenders. So you would put first and last name. So let's say my first one name is Jane Smith. And then I would put an email address. So it's important to note with one of your letters of recommenders, we do request that one is a professor of yours. In this case, I'm using 2 professors, but the goal is that at least one of your recommenders must be a professor that you've had before. Unless if there's a situation where you've been out of school for, many, many years, well, in that case, that's fine that you don't. But if you have recently graduated or you graduated within the last few years, the expectation would be that one of your recommenders would be one of your professors. So again, you add your name, you add the date, and then you continue on. And that is it. So that is the internal application. I'm going to go back. That is the internal application of what is required from you in order to apply to our department. So again, be mindful that Cal State Apply is only for applying to the dominant university. that second step, you must do that second step in order to apply to our department. So I'm going to go back to PH. So I went back to the website here. So that means now that we went through the second portion, that means you would have done the first part. You've done the second portion, which is the internal MPH application. So now that you, inside of this MPH application, you also at the end highlighted who your recommenders are going to be, who's going to write your letters of recommendation. So then what you need to do in part 3 is you will need to send this link to the recommenders and ask that they go and click on this link and submit your letter of recommendation. Okay, so you're going to email your recommenders, you're going to share this link with them, and you're going to tell them to go in and complete the application. That is all you have to do here. Okay? And if you are a domestic student, well, you are done with the entire application process. If you are an international student, you also have another additional step where you have to submit your TOEFL scores. Also, too, there is a part 1 that is required through the Office of International Admissions, and also, too, you want to make sure that just to double check, you want to make sure that you're doing parts 2 and 3 as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. This is just a very quick tutorial on how to complete our internal MPH application to our MPH program. We are excited that you have demonstrated interest in applying to our program, and we hope to see you here. And thank you so much for watching this video.